What's up, Mets fans? Welcome to the Mets Roundtable podcast right here on my channel, Chris's channel, and we are going to get it live throughout X as well. Hopefully, everybody has enjoyed that series win for our New York Mets. And of course, we cannot forget this was all about Doc's Day, retirement number 16 to the rafters forever at Citi Field. So let's say what up to the roundtable. Chris, how you doing?
Salute to the panel, Hector, Hayden, Rob. I appreciate everyone in the chat as well. Huge day for the New York Mets organization with Doc Gooden retiring the number. Mentioned it on the pregame show. Got to meet Doc back in 2021. Great guy, long overdue, and just an overall not only baseball legend but definitely a Mets legend. So it was great to get a win on Doc Day as well. Back-to-back series wins for our New York Mets.
Hell
Everyone in the
yeah.
chat, I hope everyone's hyped because this is some great baseball we're seeing on display here over the last couple of series. So glad to be back on the roundtable. Let's get after it.
Absolutely. Hayden, what's up, buddy? Now you're here on the roundtable. Say what up to everybody once again.
I am here. What's going on, y'all? I've been pretty busy with, wrapping up school and all that stuff. So that's why I have been a little inactive. I did do a podcast about a week ago, uploaded it Sunday. As you could tell, I'm at DeGrom University, as you guys like to call it. So I'm outside by the library. So if there's any noises or any of that stuff, I do apologize. But yeah, videos, live streams, started a new podcast, the Stressing Mets podcast. So thanks, Rob, for making that killer thumbnail. And yeah, congrats to Dwight Gooden, Doc Gooden. Congratulations to him, Mets legend, very young legend. So congrats to him on having the number 16 retired. I agree. No Met should be able to wear that number. So yeah, super happy for that.
Absolutely. Hector, what's up? Washington Heights.
What is up? What is up? What's going on, guys? Hayden, I said this behind the scenes, but it's good to finally meet you face to face. We've chatted and all that good stuff, liked each other's posts, but we're finally here. Got to do that with CP last week. With CP, how you doing, brother? Yeah, man. As you can see, I was at the game today. I'm still outside. I figured if you see my stuff, do a lot of stuff from the car. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do the round table from the car this time, just like I do my blunt thoughts. But yeah, man, excited. Enjoyed the heck out of that jersey retirement today. Enjoyed the fact that we actually won when we do one of these things, because sometimes we don't get a W. And the game was a great game, and we're gonna get into all that. But man, just happy to be here. Like CP said, happy to do another round table and ready to get it started.
Absolutely. So let's get, Hector, you were at the game today, and I know you said, you got a little emotional during the ceremony with Doc and everything like that. You're the veteran of the roundtable here, right? You went around the block with this damn team for a long time. What did it
Yeah.
mean to you today, and how was that ceremony?
No, no. Listen, it meant the world to me. Like if you're of my age, Dwight Gooden, that 86 team, 87, 88, that team is what you fell in love with. It's the reason why you root for these guys, right? It's the reason why you're a Met fan. So, I posted, I remember as a kid, well, we used to drive downtown into the city up from the Heights, you know, you made that left on 42nd Street and you would see that Dwight Gooden mural, man. And I used to look forward to that every time we would go into the city. Like, oh, we're going to see the Dwight Gooden mural. And you made that turn. And once you got to like 11th, 10th Ave, you would start being able to see it. And as you got closer, obviously, you got the perfect view of it. So it's a memory that's always in my mind that even as I grew older and then was able to drive, I always looked for that when I was driving downtown, even by myself or my friends and stuff like that. So like no, today was meant everything to me. The rain didn't damper it for me, and yes, I did have to try to stop from getting emotional because that yeah, I'm an emotional person, and these guys gave me a lot of joy, man. And yeah, there was some times, some rough times. I even had somebody comment in one of my posts saying, nobody let the Mets and the Mets fans down more than these two, because I said I was happy that Darryl was able to make it too, and we're gonna have Darryl's retirement. But no, for me, those guys are it. Those guys those were my childhood heroes. Was the Met guys. That's one of other athletes that you fall in love with, but as a Met fan, it was mostly the Mets. It was mostly that team, 86. And I was 10 years old. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I was older. So I remember seeing it. I remember some of the situations that I was in as I was watching the game. Not like I remember the details of watching the game itself. Now I've gone back and watched it and everything. But no, it meant the world to me. And the ceremony was great. I thought Doc's worst was great. I thought it was phenomenal that he kind of went after the Wilpons a little bit, or not went after them, but the whole thing, like he went through it, and I've heard him say that before, but him trying to come back all those times and him turning them down. But no, it was a great day all the way around for sure.
That's awesome. And I was born right after the '86 championship, so I know all my Mets history of '86 because of my dad. So, and he always talked about how DeGrom, when he pitched, it was an event. It was an event when Doc pitched every day, every fifth day, back in the days, and that's something that you can't like replace or just think of. Like that's actually like that actually happened. Like what the younger generation knows about DeGrom, and it was DeGrom Day and all that. That's what Doc was for the Mets in the mid to late '80s. So that's great, and congratulations to Doc once again. So let's get started with another series win, 3 in a row for our New York Mets. The Reds, the Braves, and now the Royals. We came back home. We took care of business. And that was the most important thing. We keep on winning series. We will be in the mix when it counts the most. So, Chris, we're gonna start with you here with the Royals series recap right here. Game 1, Mets took care of business. Game 2 was kind of all over the place. There was a ton of runs scored. We unfortunately lost. And then today was a nail biter, a low scoring game. So let me get your thoughts about the series as a whole. And did you see any concerning aspects of this series besides the obvious that we know about the too many runs scored? Or what do you think about the series, about that recap?
Listen, I'm gonna take a series win anytime I can get one, right? And especially against the Royals. Before the series started, I said that the Royals were a great up and coming team. They were winning 7 straight up until they faced the Mets in Game 1, 9-4 record to begin the series. Just a true up and coming team in the American League. Listen, the Mets took care of business at home, and that's exactly what we expected them to do. Sweeps are great and all, but obviously, the Mets faltered in the middle game. Everything went to crap as soon as the 4th inning hit. Obviously, it all started with the Bobby Witt Jr., I guess, triple, but it was really an error on Starling Marte. Love the accountability from Marte, but you got to have that. Sean Manaea, obviously, already struggling to that point. Couldn't locate his pitches, was getting ahead in count, surprisingly, 0-2, 1-2, but just couldn't put batters away. The backdoor slider wasn't working. He was messing with it. The upstairs fastball wasn't getting anybody to chase with it. So if you're Starling Marte in that situation, I understand that there's a win. There's a lot of environmental factors. You got to make that catch. And that's exactly what he said in the postgame. He basically said on the broadcast that he said today in his postgame, he said there could have been a tornado out there. I should still make that catch. And we've seen him make those catches, and even to a higher degree of difficulty night in and night out. So that is definitely not the norm with Starling Marte. Obviously, my mind, that's when the ball game turned. Obviously, Pete Alonso had a great home run to tie it in the bottom of the 3rd, but nonetheless, Sean Manaea didn't have it 3 2/3 innings. Okay, so what? You move on to the next day. And what did the Mets do today? It was a pitcher's battle. Jose Butto. Let me just say something about Jose Butto. Carlos Mendoza doubled down on this. He's here to stay. He's not going anywhere. Jose Butto, doesn't matter. Kodai Senga is going to come back, and they're going to go to a 6-man rotation. And Jose Butto is going to be that 6th man. I don't want to hear anything about Tyler McGill. If Tyler McGill comes back, that's fine. If David Peterson comes back, that's fine. They can go to the bullpen and they can like it, or they can go back down to Syracuse, and that's it. Jose Butto, I've seen everything I've needed to see out of him. He's a bulldog. He works. It's like effortless with him, to be honest with you. Sometimes he was on a roll today and nothing could stop him. The changeup was elite. 9 strikeouts over 6 innings pitched. Listen, out of anybody not named Kodai Senga in this starting rotation, you can count on Jose Butto to go 6 innings above all else, above anyone else. And that's exactly what this team needs. So shout out to Jose Butto, man. He went out there. He was a bulldog, put away 9 Royals batters. And that Royals lineup is no joke. Let's remind everyone that Royals lineup is no joke to deal with. So very proud of Jose Butto's effort. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of him, and rightfully so. I'm really proud of the Mets. Listen, we can talk about the middle game all we want. 7-11. Okay. Pete Alonso went 3 for 3, 2 home runs. Good to see him finally consistently turning around a little bit in this series. He was kind of doing so in my mind. Francisco Lindor. Let's talk about righty Lindor. 2 hits on the day. Really liked the swings that he was putting on the baseball. Even the out that he had to the warning track in right field, using the opposite field. I like that approach from Francisco Lindor. Night and day difference in at bats from the right side versus the left. Now, I don't expect him to give up that left-handed hitting side this early. That was a conversation last year, too. I don't think it's going to happen. Would I like to see it happen? I'd like to see him try a full-time righty approach, but nonetheless, just keep stacking series wins. And like you said, Rob, to open up the stream, good things will happen and the results will follow. The New York Mets are setting themselves up to win more games than not. And they were in that ball game until that disastrous fourth inning because the offense showed up, right? We've been asking for the offense to show up, and it has consistently showed up. And I got to end my spiel here giving Harrison Beta props. I've been on that man's ass for the last couple of weeks saying how bad of a ball player he is offensively, that he doesn't have a bat, that I don't like his bat. Obviously, everything great with him defensively. He plays a stud center field, but I've been absolutely tearing Harrison Bader a new one. He went out there today and shut me up. 2 hits, swinging bunt. I'll take it all day long for that first run of the evening. And you know what? Vinny Pasquantino today got a hold of one off of Edwin Diaz, but that's what you get with Edwin Diaz. You get a lights out closer. He got the job done at the end of the day with that extra run. Let's go Mets, man. I don't know about you all. Listen, the panel, I'm hype. I don't know if you can tell I'm speaking more fast than I usually am because I'm just hype, and I hope everyone in the chat is too. Let's go.
Hey, I know it's all about your 2-seeded Knicks, man. I know that's why you're so happy.
Oh yeah. We up, baby. We up, baby. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. You're 100% right. Listen, this team could have rolled over and died already with their 1-5 start. Like we talked about it. Like we wanted to see fight from this team. If anything else, I wanted to see fight from this team because the players know it, the fans know it, the organization knows it. There's a mantra with this team that they're soft. That when they get punched in the mouth, they don't get back up, and they have been doing that. They fight back in almost every game now. They're never out of it. They could have swept that Brave series if they just almost missed coming back in the second game. But it is what it is. They keep on winning series, and that's the important part. And Jose Butto, having those 9 strikeouts on Doc's day, it was just a perfect, full circle day for Mets baseball. So sorry, Hayden, excuse me. Hayden, recap the Royal series. What did you like? What did you dislike when it came to this series?
I liked a lot of things. For starters, breaking it down game by game. Game 1, Severino on the bump. Tip of the cap to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be a very huge X factor for this Mets team. I talked about it in my video that I uploaded before the season. Great cutter slider combination, has the 4-seam, mixed up his pitches very, very well. He got those, adequate amount strikeouts. He could strike out some, put the ball in play. Severino did great. Game 1, the bullpen held down the fort. He only gave up 1 run. Offense did great. I mean, we saw, I think, I want to say McNeil had 3 hits that game. Beatty had a couple. He had that nice double. Alonso had a pair of home runs, I believe. And that's just going to, goes to show what happens when your lineup produces 1 through 9. I mean, it's huge. Nimmo had a great day, and it goes to show. I mean, when everyone 1 through 9 in your lineup is hitting or walking, I think you had 14 hits. Good things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Beatty, he really is looking great. He looked great game 1, and throughout really the whole series. Jeff McNeil, we've really been seeing that old approach from Jeff McNeil go the opposite way. I believe he went to the opposite field twice. One of those drove in a run. The other ones were just nice hard hits. So McNeil, definitely huge. And it goes to show you when you're table setters, your 1, 2, or heck, even your 6, 7 hitters, and towards the end of the order are producing, good things are happening. When McNeil isn't hitting and Nimmo's not hitting and Lindor's not hitting and Beatty's not hitting, you're not going to drive in runs. You're not going to win. I mean, it's as simple as that. We saw it last year, maybe minus Nimmo. So game 1, great. Game 2, honestly, I think this was probably the only loss in quite a while that I was happy about, is that they battled back.
Mm-hmm.
Mania didn't look good. Really struggled early on just with the walks. Walked 3 guys, 8 hits, a lot of soft hits, a lot of soft contact. And that's what the Royals do. They're one of those teams that are going to be a pain in the behind for years to come. They're going to be that smart, fast, slap the ball team and Moneyball OBP merchant probably. So Mania really got roughed up. A lot of the exit velos, very light contact, but still it's a hit. Couldn't really locate. We saw he was edging the corners, just couldn't throw strikes. He got taken out. Sulcer came in and, put salt in the wound a little bit. And the damage was kind of over. But what I liked is your offense battled back. Marte 3 hits, Alonso 3 hits. Your offense battled back, so I'll take it. And it was an unfortunate loss, but we battled back. Something that this team last year would have never done. I mean, it would have been 11-1. Maybe they would have got some homer, but they make it interesting. And then today, I mean, really the big game, Doc Gooden Day. We saw last year they tired Keith Hernandez and they put on a show. Well, this year they retired Doc Gooden and they put on a show. Jose Butto, tip of the cap. He's staying for a while. He looks great. I think we saw, 7 strikeouts. He looked phenomenal. I really like what I've been seeing from him. His last 9 starts, right here, 2.52 ERA. He has phenomenal stuff. I really like with what Jose Butto definitely could have. Could the Mets run with the 6-man rotation? I think it's likely. I think it'd be interesting to see Senga's mentality on that, considering that's what was supposed to be last year for him, but not quite yet. But excuse me, 9 strikeouts. And then the bullpen looked good, and offense looked good. I mean, tip of the cap, Nimmo's been great, Marte's been great. And it goes to show you when your lineup and guys are producing, when your X factors are producing in Marte, in Beatty, you're gonna win ball games. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the offense is looking great. They're taking walks, they're getting on base, and they're driving them in. Fundamental baseball, and that's what we saw today. And kind of sucks that the offense went a little away, but you're gonna have those days where you're the best offense in baseball. Look at the Braves. They have their off days where they don't hit much. So we'll see. My only concern is Francisco Lindor. I don't know why that dude bats lefty. I mean, I feel like if anyone had somewhat of a brain cell, they would tell him like bat righty from now on. I hate that whole lefty on lefty, righty on lefty shenanigans that happens in baseball, but he really needs to bat righty. I mean, and Chris said it, Rob said it, Hector, we've all said it. He looks so much more clean from the right side.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Yeah. And it's like, he got a pure right-handed swing. Like, he's more leveled. He doesn't have that pure uppercut swing like he does left-handed. I mean, I know he's stubborn. I know he's done it his whole career. But at some point, like, try it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You're just as bad as you are left-handed. Righty on righty. It is what it is. I'd rather try it and give all your put all your options on the table when it comes to Lindor. But yeah, you're right, Hayden. The pitching picked up the offense early on. The offense has picked up the pitching, and I think that's something that we always talked about this. During all the shows last season. What was the problem with the Mets? Right? It was they couldn't do everything right at the same time, and when one side of the diamond did something right, the other side didn't show up. Like when the pitching showed up, the offense didn't show up. When the offense didn't show up, the pitching showed up, and it went back and forth. And now they're picking up each other when one is not doing as well as they should. And I think that's credit to Mendoza. We got to give some credit to Mendoza here, because as a rookie manager, this team could have just died after the 1-5 start, and he's figuring out ways to get this team going. His managerial decisions, bullpen wise, have been pretty good. Considering 1 or 2 games this year that I question his decisions. The Beatty bunt, couple of bullpen options. But other than that, I think Mendoza's been pretty good. Hector, what do you think about this series? What did you like and what you dislike about this series? Watching it against the Royals.
I mean, I don't think there's much not to like, to be honest with you. I love this series. And I'm not going to go game by game. You guys have done a great job of it, so I don't want to sound redundant or, repetitive and all of that stuff. But, like you said, early on, the offense wasn't really there. The pitching was, and we struggled. We went 0-5, and now we saw it starting with Atlanta, or starting really with Cincinnati with the Reds, and then Atlanta, and they continued here with the first game. And for me, the things that stand out, or the main standout, especially from that first game, but just through this whole run, so I'm not even going to stick to Kansas City, is because, like I said, you guys have mentioned everything else has been good, but Beatty, man. Brett Beatty and the confidence that the kid is playing with. And it's something that I mentioned in one of the videos that I did before the season and stuff, and maybe even early on, was we need him to get off to a good start. We need him to build on good days so that he can build his confidence. Because I felt like that was something that he may have struggled with. And he talked about, being able to focus and maybe being able to deal with the major leagues and at bat to at bat and play to play and all that stuff. So I think it's been great in the showdown. And we even saw him today come in, pinch hit, get a hit, then get a walk in that big ninth inning. you know what I'm saying, to keep the rally going. So that's one of the things that stands out on top of everything that you guys have spoken about, is Brett Beatty. And then we saw Butto today, and I think I told you, Rob, I don't know if the other guys were in there before we started this, where before the game, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be an emotional day, and this is something that I don't care, man. As players, anything you see something like this, you're gonna see the love that the crowd is gonna give Doc Gooden. You're gonna see these highlights. Who's gonna be motivated by that today? Who's gonna have the big game? And I was thinking, why not Buto as a pitcher, right? You see Doc doing his thing out there, that should motivate him. And can we say he wasn't motivated? He sure was. 9 Ks. It was that he finished with, like you guys said. And CP, I think you mentioned before. I think did you say that Mendoza said he definitely getting a next start in 5 days?
Well, he said it. He beat around the bush a little bit. He said he's here to stay though. So
Oh well, and that's good to hear because that's the conversation I've been having with a couple of people. Is okay. He earned another start in his first start, and we didn't know when it was going to happen and how it was going to happen. Right? It took what was it, 8, 9 days, whatever the hell it was. He's earned a start in 5 days, ladies and gentlemen. That kid needs to start in 5 days, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm trying to think. And we've heard that Hauser has served that role before, where he's been a bullpen guy. He's been that hybrid guy who's gone back into the rotation, back and forth. So maybe he's the guy that you put into the bullpen when now you have another arm in the bullpen and you give Budo the consistent starts every 5 days. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Maybe it's a 6-man rotation. I don't know if the time now's the time for that. You know, you can always play with days off and stuff like that. But I'm glad to hear that, and that kid definitely needs another start. But just happy overall that the hitting is taking off. You guys mentioned Bader. We wanted to send Bader to the minors. Some people wanted to DFA him after the first 5 games. You know what I'm saying? And now he's actually hitting 300. We'll see how long that lasts. But he hit the ball hard today. He had what, 2 hits, and then better to be lucky than good sometimes, right? He hits that little dribbler down the line that ends up
Yeah,
driving in the first runner, and we take off from there. And then we see Nemo, where people have been complaining, Nemo's not taking walks, takes that big walk for the insurance run there. That was huge. So again, I don't think there's any negatives or anything that you can take from the series. I'm not gonna put it too much into Manai yesterday. Obviously, everybody struggled pitching for the most part. You know what I'm saying? It was a terrible day out there. Um, they gave up 7 runs. It's just that we gave up 11. We won the series. We move on. That's what you want to do at the end of the day. Yeah, you like going on those long winning streaks and stuff like that. A sweep is great. And once you win the first game, you're thinking, let's get the second one. And when you win that second one, yeah, let's get that sweep. But
yeah.
the main thing is to win series. As long as you continue to win series, can't be upset about that, man. And just too many good things. A lot of good things. A lot of good things that happened over this week.
Yeah, and the backtrack a little bit, like I know we talked about this on a couple, especially me and you, Chris, on the pregame shows, that the Mets needed to go on the road after the Brewers and Tiger series at home. I just think they needed to get away, take that pressure off, and do what they needed to do on the road. Right, we're 4-2 on the road, right, and we come back home with that momentum and take 2 out of 3 against the Royals. And I think that's important to realize as well, that the Mets struggled at home last year. I know they struggled overall, but they on the road they were pretty deep. They were around 500 last year. At home they were absolutely terrible. You got to get that home field advantage. I know there's been a lot of talk about Met fans not showing up to Citi Field and everything like that, but look at the days the Mets play at Citi Field and look at the days the Yankees play. It seems like it's 65 and sunny, and when the Mets play, it's like 45 and rainy. Like it seems like almost every game, it seems like there's some type of rain and freezing weather. And Hector, I know you can attest to that since you go to a lot of the games. And we
It
were
was
freezing
brutal today.
that doubleheader. It was freezing when we were there, right? It was cold, right? And I know that's excuses when it comes to going to baseball games and stuff like that. But what gets fans to the ballpark? What got fans in 2022 to the ballpark? Winning. You know, you show a good team on the field and you see a winning team on the field, people will show up. You'll get the
Yes.
casuals that show up and just don't really care about the game, but they show up and have a couple of beers, right? They fill out the ballpark. The diehards are going to be there regardless, right? There'll be 10. Hector, we were there. The doubleheader. If there was 5,000 fans in that doubleheader, that's a lot.
5,000. I
And we
don't think
were
there was 500.
yeah, and we were loud, and those were the diehards, but all you heard because it was echoing. Everybody who was screaming anything at anybody, you heard it, and that's the important thing to realize as well, that a winning product brings fans. It's just that simple. Like, it's not hard to realize. It's a simple take. So if the Mets start winning and start get Hector, get.
No, no, sorry, because I thought about something that I wanted to touch on because you guys talked about Lindor. So before we move on, just wanted to give my thought about that and the whole lefty righty thing. And listen, I get it too. Like you said, Hayden, we've all talked about it. If you haven't talked about it, then I don't know what you're watching. The dude is a hitter, right-handed. He's actually a hitter. Left-handed, he's a launch angle guy. He's To me, nothing frustrates me more when you go up there and you first pitch swinging and then you pop it up. And
Yeah,
he's done this continuously, especially left-handed. And it's like, okay, on top of the fact that your swing seems to be an uppercut swing and you're looking to always hit for power, are you also now struggling with your confidence as a left-handed hitter, where you don't even want to take a pitch? You feel like you got to swing at the first pitch you see because you're scared to fall behind in the count or whatever the case may be. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm in the camp of, you know what, guy, it may be time to give up batting left-handed and go ahead and hit right-handed. But I also understand, and who knows if this conversation has come up or not. Well, we don't know that. We all keep saying this, but maybe that's not even a thought to them. And I don't know if it should be a thought, right? And if the conversation's,
It has to be
it
a
has to
thought
be,
for
it has
sure.
to be. And if the
Yeah.
conversation's been had, I can understand where he would be reluctant to it, right? Because you don't get to be a Francisco Lindor. You don't get to be a professional baseball player by giving up, right? So that'll feel to him like, I'm giving up, and this is something that I can do. No, I'd rather keep working at it, rather keep working at it. It may not be the right thing to do. It may drive us crazy. I would have to hope that eventually he comes out of that. I honestly just don't know how he will. I just don't know how he will right now. I understand why we may not see the switch, maybe not even this year or as quick as we want it to happen, if it does go happen. But I would hope, like you said, CP, that the conversation is being had because they have to see what we're seeing.
yeah.
They have to see it, and you have to try to get better. But getting better is gonna be no. Let's try to fix this left-handed swing. We just don't see how they're fixing it because it looks like the same thing all the time.
Is it just? I guess anybody can answer this question. Is it just him being known in his career to be a very slow starter in April, and once the weather gets warmer, he starts to pick it up? He's still a better right-handed hitter than left-handed hitter, but it
I
seems like
was
the left-handed side gets better when May comes around for
I
some
was
reason.
thinking I was thinking that too, but historically, I don't think he's been this bad. Where
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no.
yeah, I mean,
This is beyond a
historically,
slow
yeah,
start, right, Hayden? This is beyond. This is not a
this
slow
is yeah,
start. This is like, dude, you're not even showing up. Let's be honest.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
agree with the whole.
2023, by the way, I just quickly looked it up. 281 as a righty versus left-handed pitching versus 240 as a lefty versus right-handed pitching.
you.
And the home runs, the one aspect of power that you and we're all saying that he has as a lefty, he actually has the same power as a righty,
Yeah,
believe it or not. I mean, he put 16 home runs out of the ballpark as a righty versus 15 as a lefty last year. So you're not giving really up anything power wise, and you see that level swing that we're all mentioning. So I really just I can't comprehend it. And like you said, Hector, like I honestly don't think it's an option for them. I think it's been discussed because it has to be discussed, but I just don't think it's an option right now. Just because he's Francisco Lindor at this point, like you would just think he's coming out of it. But yeah,
Does
there's no way they haven't talked about this before.
I feel like someone said this in the chat, and I concur because I've noticed it too when watching the games. Does his stance look a little bit different with
left-handed.
with his
Yeah,
hands on the
his
bat? He keeps it a little bit more
if
upwards.
you look at his where he's standing in the batter's box, he's standing more up
Yeah,
than he
yep.
was. Because I noticed, it's funny you brought that up because I was looking at my dad brought it up the other day. He was like, "Wow, Lindor looks like he's closer. He's closer to the pitcher in the batter's box than he was." And you know what? I happened to look back. If you look back at his games, even early last year or late last year, he was more back in the box left-handed. So what I'm thinking is that he's trying to cheat on these breaking ball off-speed pitches because that's been his biggest problem left-handed is getting fooled by the breaking stuff in the off-speed pitches. And I think he's trying to get that off-speed and breaking pitches before it breaks. And I think that's why he might have moved up in the box a little bit left-handed. Now, he got a couple of hits. So it's maybe that adjustment's working a little bit. But like Hector said, that pop up, the bases loaded. I threw my phone like on the floor. I was pissed. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, base hit scores 2. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Was that first pitch, Rob? I was doing my Knicks stream at that point. Was that
it,
first
First
pitch?
pitch.
it was first
First
pitch.
First
pitch.
pitch.
Yeah,
Well,
that
so
worked.
that's just a bad. I mean, listen, I don't get mad at players, especially in the middle of the order. Like Hector, you responded to a tweet that I said like middle of the order batters. I don't really have a problem with them swinging first pitch, but if he was a lefty, he was a lefty. And he did that today, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Yes.
then yeah, like you're saying, Hector, at least take a pitch, like do something different at the very minimum. But another point on that is, did I see Alvarez with bases loaded 2 outs swing 3-0
3-0.
and grounded to shortstop? Because I didn't like
Yeah.
that either.
Yep.
I didn't
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
he did do that. But you know what? I don't
He's
mind.
driving me crazy with those grounders to show when his men on base. He drives me
Three,
crazy with that stuff. I'm telling
three,
you.
three, 3-0 with bases loaded is that's just bad. That's just not smart baseball at all. Swinging with bases loaded on the first pitch, I'm not too concerned about because it was a good pitch to hit. He just got under it because that's all he does with his
Right.
uppercut swing. That's the frustrating part. Like the 3-0 can't see. This is when I get mad at coaches because why have signs? All you got to do is put the hold sign on for Alvarez, and you solve that problem. And you don't and this is not just Mendoza. This is around baseball. Like they love these hitters with the analytics and all that shit. They 3-0. They let the hitters swing at their discretion. I'm sorry,
Well, it's
but
because
this
they say Rob, they feel like it's the only true fastball count anymore. Like when you're
I
gonna catch,
understand that.
because now these
I
guys
understand
throw
that,
anything any count. But yeah,
but baseball sense, common sense, 3-0 with the bases loaded, you should not swing. Like, I don't care what nerd behind the desk tells me that is the best pitch to hit. No fucking way. I'm sorry. Like, we've all played baseball. We
I
all
think it
have
depends on the situation, though. No, Rob, it depends on the situation. Sometimes,
absolutely
listen, they have
correct.
the pitching coach comes out and you know you're gonna get a fastball, right?
Yeah,
But dude, if you're gonna swing, you gotta make sure it's that pitch that you're gonna do damage with. You
yeah,
can't be freaking
correct.
rolling over and hitting a ground ball over and over. Or you can't be freaking popping it up. Because it's not like it's just today Lindor swung 3-0 first. I mean, swung first pitch and popped up. Not the first time. And he's not the only one. We see McNeil do it this year a couple of times. Like, they continue to do it. You guys are not being successful. I understand what you're trying to do, but you're not being successful, and it's driving me crazy. And the same thing with Francisco Alvarez. I was saying it last year. It's like every time this guy gets somebody on base, it's like he tightens up, and he tries
Yeah,
to do too much, and he's rolling over. You know what I'm saying? And I understand he's young. I got somebody that just responded to me on X. Oh, I won't respond anymore because I told him, dude, I know he's 22 years old. Don't tell me he's 22 years old and it's okay. I understand that. But this is something that I see that he needs to work on. So I can't
yeah,
say it because he's 22 and okay, just keep doing the same thing.
correct.
No,
Exactly. You
no.
gotta
That
get
doesn't mean I don't like the guy or that I'm knocking him. I love Francisco Alvarez.
yeah,
Junior's right in the chat though. It's all situational, and it's with every
Yeah,
single New York Met. Like that, the situational baseball needs to be better. Like we are obviously here talking about the negatives. Obviously, there's a lot of positives to build off, but the situational hitting still needs work. That's
yeah.
absolute.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that's always been the thing with the Mets for a while, like situational hitting. 2022 they were great at it, and then they completely went against it in 2023. And it seems like early on this year they look, they're leaving a small country on base because they can't do the little things. They can't hit a sac fly, hit a grounder to the right side with less than 2 outs with a guy on third to get the run in. They got to start doing that because you're going to lose close games because you're not doing the little things. And going back to the situational hitting and like counts and stuff like that, right? We've all been in the batter's box in a hitter's count, and what do? You pinpoint your sweet spot where you want the ball to be. If the ball is here, I'm going after it. It's got to be in my wheelhouse, right? We all know that, and it's frustrating because like these are major leaguers. I don't care if you're 21, 30, 25. It doesn't matter. You play baseball all your life. You should know what you need to do in that spot. Not saying that you're going to be successful and the results are going to be great every single time. Baseball, you fail more times than you succeed. But age shouldn't be the reason, like Hector just pointed out. Age shouldn't be the reason that you are doing stupid things in moments that are basically baseball 101 that everybody knows. That's why we get mad as fans, because when players say, "Oh, you don't know how we feel." Yes, we do. Just because you're on the big stage doesn't mean that we haven't played the same game of baseball that hasn't changed for 100 years. So that's unfortunate, but the good news is we got the series win. It wasn't pretty, but W's are W's, and that's all we care about. So I wanted to get to the Senga JD Martinez news, or lack thereof in certain areas. What Mendoza talked about. Senga is throwing from 120 feet. That's a good sign. So he's long tossing. That's always a great sign. It's probably going to be back within a month or so, maybe later in May. Right now, obviously we would like Senga, but it's not really killing us at the moment. I mean, maybe it will, in 3 weeks. But the good news is Senga's throwing. Apparently, he's pain-free, which is good news. JD Martinez is still a work in progress. He still is working on that back issue, still working on ramping up again. Who knows when we're going to see him? The cortisone shot or the cortisone shot that he got hopefully is going to work, because if it doesn't, it's going to start lingering even more with this back issue. So, Hector, I wanted to ask you, when do you think we're going to see JD Martinez? Excuse me, not JD Davis, JD Martinez.
To be honest with you, Rob, somebody asked me the same thing. I think it was earlier today, maybe even yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even thinking about JD Martinez. I'm not. I'm on some like, yo, you here, you here. Let's play ball. Let's get it done. When JD Martinez comes, he comes. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know. Is he back swinging? Was he gonna shut it completely down? I don't even know what the heck he was doing. I know after he got the shot, then there was something else. I don't know. But honestly, I have no clue. I haven't even put a thought to it. I guess we need to see him start playing games again. If I'd had to take a guess, I say I'd be surprised if he's here before 2 weeks. And people that's gonna be like, that's a long time, right? But I don't think he's playing yet. So if he felt like he needed to ramp up before, and then that was too quick, and all this body soreness and all that. But honestly, JD Martinez is the last thing on my mind right now. Like, we're playing well. Just keep playing well. Just keep
Yeah.
playing well.
Yeah, so I'm thinking May 1st. Somebody brought up, oh, when it gets a little warmer, that's when we'll probably start getting them. Maybe it is. Like I said, when I'm
No, May
watching the
1st. That's
game,
about 2 weeks, though. No, May
yeah,
1st.
yeah, about that. But you know what's funny? Like, I'm watching a game, and like, no matter who's the DH, I'm not even saying, oh, if JD Martinez was in that spot, he would get the job done. I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking of like, all right, well, if DJ Stewart didn't get the job done, oh, why didn't Tyrone Taylor get the start at DH or something like that? Like, I'm always thinking of somebody who's already on the roster that can help this team, ASAP, instead of worrying about JD Martinez 2 weeks away. So, Chris, Hayden does. If you want to jump in about the JD Martinez, when do you think he's going to come back, and the Senga situation that he's long tossing, pain free, which is a good sign, but we're not going to see him probably until the middle of May, maybe a little later.
Definitely.
Go ahead, Hayden. I'll let you go.
Thank you. I was just going to say it's definitely good news to see both of them making progress. I mean, when it comes to Senga, it's kind of like last year when we didn't have Quintana and JV for a little bit and pitching sucked. So I guess it's good to see on the contrary now that the pitching is doing very well with their absence, and with Senga coming back. I think the Mets have the best National League ERA. I'm not a big ERA fan, but still, that's great. And that's without Senga. So, I mean, that's great to hear. Good to hear Senga's throwing from 120 feet. I think you said, Rob. So, if it comes back Memorial Day, I'll take it. It'll be a nice Memorial Day quarter season little pickup. So that'll be nice. And Martinez, I would say probably May 1st. Maybe that first series in May would be nice. You want to get him back soon. The injury prone thing was definitely a concern, and of course it had to happen with the Mets. It didn't happen the last 2 years, so of course it has to happen now with the Mets. But you'd like to get him here soon. This lineup is doing very well. Put up 29 runs against Atlanta. Put up like 20 runs against the Royals this weekend, and that's without JD. So
Yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, the Mets are staying afloat without those two guys, which is certainly a good sign. I think Kodai obviously was transferred to the 60-day IL. I believe, I'm not mistaken, the first day that he's even eligible to be back is May 27th anyway. So we're definitely looking late May by default or early June. And my whole thing is I think the Mets are playing the longevity game this season, honestly. You saw it today with Brett Beatty not getting the start in a crucial rubber match series. Obviously, I think the Mets in general just playing the longevity game over 162. So I think that they're not going to rush Kodai Senga back, especially if the Mets are just floating around with what they got. There's no reason to rush a guy back after like a capsule strain like that. So JD Martinez, we know that this is what comes with JD Martinez, right? He only played 103 games last season. The Dodgers were very reliant on the quote unquote load management type situation that you see in the NBA nowadays with JD Martinez, giving him the proper rest. So, like I said, I don't want to be reliant on JD Martinez. I would think that this lineup should be in a position to get the job done because it was looking like this whole entire offseason the Mets were getting ready for the season and to go into it without JD Martinez. So that showed me that they at least had confidence in their lineup already before JD Martinez even entered the picture. So let's see what happens. I'm not really sure. Curious to see what happens with DJ Stewart over the long haul. I'm curious to see what happens with the Zach Short over the long haul because I certainly don't see Zach Short being on this roster for too much longer. It's good to see. It's a good story. He got his opportunity in spring training, but you have Mark Vientos there waiting in the wings. I'm not saying that he deserves the opportunity just yet, but if you need an offensive upgrade, more power, Mark Vientos is there. J-Man Choi has been struggling. Someone said early in the chat, but he's another lefty option as well if DJ Stewart doesn't figure it out. And then obviously JD Martinez, that righty bat that we're all waiting to come up. I don't have a timetable on JD Martinez, but at this point, it's good to see the offense at least coming around, whooping up on the Braves and the Royals. Two very good squads without JD Martinez. So we'll see what happens. I truly do think it's going to be a six-man rotation when Kodai. I truly don't think they're going to rush him, A, and B, I don't think they're going to pitch him on shorter rest than last season, especially not right away. I think that the six-man rotation will probably be here to stay till like middle to late season, if I had to guess. So that's my take on that.
Yeah. And you know what? When it comes to that, they've been playing well, especially offensively with JD. And the pitching was a top 3 in baseball, if I'm not mistaken. I think you said, Hayden, ERA wise. And I mean, that's without Senga. So that's a good sign. If we can hold the fort down until those guys come back, it's only going to make us better. But I know it's very early into the season. Most teams play 15, 16 games. But the Mets are 2.5 games out of the division, 2 out in the wild card. I know it's early, but the way it started this year, it looked like the season was over. But this is the most vulnerable the Atlanta Braves have been in a couple of years. And not saying that the Phillies or the Mets are going to make a run for the division, but you've seen a little crack in the armor of the Atlanta Braves where they looked like dumbfounded when the Mets destroyed them in the 3rd game of the series. Like they look like, like they lost their dog. Like I know that's going outside the box here, but I was just curious what anybody thinks. Whoever wants to chime in on this, because I'm very curious about this before we get quickly into the Pittsburgh series. Like, I think Atlanta is more vulnerable than we think, and it might be easier to win a division than to fight for a wild card spot. The way the NL Central is looking, and the way the mixture of the NL West teams. I know that's way outside the box, but I was trying to get everybody's thought on that because Atlanta looks very vulnerable with the Spencer Strider injury as well and out for the year. So whoever wants to chime in, talk about that.
I think that rotation definitely is the piece to that, and that's why they're looking like that. Obviously, the offense is a juggernaut, but they're definitely banged up with the injury front on the pitching side. I mean, they just weren't throwing really competitive guys against the Mets, so I would hope the Mets didn't falter against them against that type of starting pitching. Obviously, the Spencer Strider news is a huge blow to them as well. That's a very hot take, though, Rob. Competing for the division, that's a very hot take. I'm not sure if I agree with that one because honestly, I I would probably expect the Braves to turn it around more so than I would think, and I believe in the Pittsburgh Pirates to keep up this pace for over the course of 162. I'm not saying the Pittsburgh Pirates are obviously any slouch of a team, but I'm just not truly confident that they're there yet, right? So I'll take my chances against those NL Central teams, but I don't know. Maybe. I really hope this is the downfall of the Braves, to be honest with you. I'm praying on it. I've been praying on it, and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like the organization. I don't like the fans. I don't like the players. Nothing about that organization, that team in Atlanta sits right with me. So we can only hope. But yeah, man, I think April 14th is too early to predict that, but
I agree.
they're
I
definitely
agree.
not being helped out by any injury.
Yeah, only reason why I said that, like Atlanta fans make Yankee fans look like angels. Honestly, but but yeah, the
Not
only
wrong.
reason why I said that, the only reason why I talked about that, because I'm looking at the path of how many teams are going to be in the mix for probably all three wild card spots, and I'm thinking, what if the Braves, because of their pitching woes, win 85, 88, 90 games instead of that 99 to 100. That's all I'm saying. Hating Hector, if you want to chime in on it, what do you think about my crazy thought process?
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, it's baseball. I mean, we've seen teams that have 85, 86 wins, and they're in the World Series, Diamondbacks. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins the division. It's, you get to the dance, but it's one thing if you make it all the way. But yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly possible. I mean, the Braves losing Strider is a big blow. Pitch clock. Massive blow, 100% losing Strider. I mean, he's huge for them this year. But I still think they're a great team. I still think they're a very talented team offensively. I think they have the best offense in baseball right now. But you never know. I mean, we could look back on this in October and think we're all silly, or we could say, hey, they actually knew what was going on. So it's possible. It's baseball, 162 game season, but it was good for the Mets to go into Atlanta, show a message. You won game one, almost won game two, and then you destroyed them game three. So it shows a good message if you're the Mets going into the season in Atlanta, especially.
Yeah, in Atlanta was, I think, more key, because if it was at home, everybody like, they're at home, they a little bit of an advantage, but on the road, that's something that they never do. And Hector, before I get you on that, I kind of I'm in that area now where it's like, if they have another injury to an offensive guy, that's when they can, they can be even more problems for the Braves. And I know I'm crazy. Like, I'm just sick of the negativity of, like, let's, with the loser mentality, like, oh, let's try to get the third wild card. I know that's more realistic, but you got, I don't want the players to think we can't win a division. Let's play for a wild card, because that's a losing mentality, and I'm sick that we're having it. Because we have crosstown rivals and the Yankees that talk about World Series or bust, or divisions or bust, and everything like that. And I'm sick and tired of having that losing mentality, like, oh, we could make the wild card if everything goes right. Well, what if everything goes right and we do dominate the Braves during the season, and maybe we actually get a chance of winning the division, Hector? Why not?
Hey, breaking
Listen,
news, by the way, before you go, Hector. Tommy Pham closing out on a minor
oh
league
yeah,
deal with the White Sox. Kind of
yeah, I saw that.
surprising that it's
World
taken him
Series
that
back
long. But
for them.
White Sox. That's what happens when you open your mouth too much, though. Nobody wants you.
Yeah, so I like Tommy Fab. I'm sorry, I really do. I didn't mind what he said about the Mets
No,
and
me
all that
neither.
stuff, but whatever. As far as listen, I'm a psycho, so to me, I understand you. To take the season as it is and coming in realistically, you probably think, okay, well, this is not a division winning team, but I'm always gonna say this, guys. Until you guys gonna get tired of hearing it. Can you stop saying that crap? The game is played on dirt and grass, not paper. You go out there, you play the games, and if the division is within reach, go out there and win the division. We're seeing things right now that maybe you say, hey, this could be possible. Maybe some people feel like it's a reach. I don't think it's ever a reach. Now, yes, again, depending on the team that you build and what the competition is like within your division, you may say, this season division might not be within reach, although, we'll keep it in mind or whatever. But let's go out there and make sure that we get in as a wild card. I'm not comfortable with that being your goal all the time, though I understand that being the Mets goal this year. But no, I'm right there with you, Rob, especially with everything that's going on with the injuries. the way this team is playing, why not? Why not? Until it's not possible, I always want to try to do that. And I know I agree with you, Hayden. Yeah, you don't really need to win a division, but I guess the old school in me always wants to try to win a division. I want to be that top team. I do. I want to be that top team. I want to be that team that everybody's chasing down year after year. I do. We talk about sustained success. Well, that's what that is. You go out there, you win your division every year. You're one of the top teams in the league, and you make the playoffs every year. And you give yourself as many opportunities as possible to be able to win that elusive World Series, right? And hopefully, we get to win a few of them in the next 10 years or whatever the case may be. Right? 'Cause I don't just want one, guys. But yeah, no. Can we win a division? I'm not gonna say no. Is it my sole focus right now? No, but just because it's April. So in April, I don't really care what the other teams are doing. Because it really
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you don't handle your business, right? So what I focus more right now is how do I feel about the Mets? And what do I think the Mets can do? And coming in, I felt like they could be a playoff team. And as I'm watching them, especially now, I definitely feel like they could be a playoff team. And that's what I'm focused on. Is that going to be by a division win or just a wild card? Again, we shall see. Am I going to put a division out of the realm of possibility? Never.
Yeah, absolutely. And this team has fight in them, and that's the first thing besides W's you wanted to see the fight in them, and they have it over the first 15, 16 games of the season. And now we go to pitch. Now we play Pittsburgh. Sorry, at home, the 11-5 Pittsburgh Pirates. They're not even leading into the division. The Brewers are. They're a young team. They're a good team, but they started like this last year, and then they faltered off. Unfortunately for the Mets, they're playing them while they're playing pretty good right now in April. But this is the last series before we go on that dreaded West Coast trip for the Dodgers and the Giants in April. Usually it's in June to have our June swoon. That is, historically a thing for our Mets. Now we're doing this in April. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. Chris, I want to get your thoughts on this. Pittsburgh series. They're a good team. They're playing well right now. What do you want to see from this Mets team going into this series against Pittsburgh?
Win a series. That's the goal every series. Just win the series. 2 of 3. I think the Mets are in a good position to do so. I do think they have the advantage in the pitching matchup category, and it all starts with Adrian Hauser. Can he rebound from a bad start in Atlanta? 5 earned runs over 5 innings pitched. It was a miracle that he even went 5 in that game against the Braves. And somehow the Mets made it a ball game there late. But yeah, I want to see a rebound in Adrian Hauser. I've been saying it all off season. So have you, Rob. He's Mr. Consistent. So we need to see him put the Mets in a position to win game 1. It's all about setting the tone, and that's exactly what I like what the Mets did in the Royals series. They set the tone early by getting a dominant win in game 1. Do the same thing because that allows you a little bit room for air in the middle game, and then you go out there and you can win the rubber match. So that's all I want to say. I just want to see good baseball. I think the offense finally is catching their stride. I think they're getting into a little bit of a groove. I want to see Francisco Lindor from the left side continue or heat it up from the left side. We just talked about that. But if he's batting righty, then there you go. I have full confidence in him. I really do think that the New York Mets should win this series. No disrespect to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know they're playing great baseball, but I just look at the pitching matchups. We got Jose Quintana, Adrian Hauser, and Luis Severino, all 3 of them going in this series. Luis Severino having a pretty decent outing compared to what he's done, I guess, not in the second start, but that first start was just a killer for him. But I think he pitched pretty well in that Cincinnati series, albeit. But yeah, I need to see this team click on all cylinders. And I said it, and I'm going to say it time and time again. I truly, with as good of baseball the Mets have been playing over the last 3 series, I truly don't think they've hit their stride yet. And it's still early, 2 weeks into the season, just over. I truly do think the Mets are going to be a dangerous team, especially when you talk about Kodai Senga coming back next month and JD Martinez coming back. But starting pitching, continue to put the Mets in position to win ball games. And if you can lengthen, I think there should be I guess, prize or an award that Carlos Mendoza gives a starting pitcher not named Jose Butto that can get you 6 innings pitched. I think Sean Manaea has done it once this season so far. But if your name is not Jose Butto, Who in the starting rotation right now, while Kota Sang is injured, can get you 6 innings pitched? First one to do it gets a prize. I want to see Carlos Mendoza set that up in the clubhouse. But no, on a serious note, the starting pitching says it all. Adrian Hauser needs to set the tone, and I think the Mets will be good to go. I'm excited for this series. Like I said, another team that's playing well right now in early April. The Mets have been beating good teams. The Cincinnati Reds are up and coming team. The Braves, obviously, juggernaut of an offense there, obviously dealing with some injuries, but a good team nonetheless. And the Kansas City Royals, another up and coming team in the AL Central. So I'm excited. This is what April baseball is all about. And I like to see like the different flavors of the MLB here early on into April. We're seeing a diverse set of divisions in terms of opposition, right? We're seeing a little bit NL East. We saw the AL Central, and we've been seeing the NL Central. We'll see the NL Central again. So I know a lot of people are like against the whole interleague kind of play, but early on to the season, I kind of like it. So we'll see how the Mets fare.
Yeah,
And
and
the Pirates kind of old us though, don't they, guys? I feel
Yeah.
like
Yep.
and it's not just last year. Even in 2022, when we had that great year, people forget we they beat us in the series right before the All Star break, and they came back after the All Star break and beat us again.
yeah,
And that wasn't too good. And that started to put a bad taste in my mouth for people. You're bugging out. Yeah, I was bugging out, all right. And then they did it to us again last year. So it's time to return the favor. They want to be feeling a little bit good. They think they're a good team. Let's knock them down a little bit, just like you said. I'm down
yeah,
for that. And as far my bad, Rob, before you go, as far as the West Coast trip, one thing that stands out to me, I think it was like that last year too, where we went out there a little bit earlier. But a good thing is usually that West Coast trip, and again, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is usually long, like a 10-game trip, right?
yeah.
And it's kind of broken up, so I don't mind it. We're facing the Dodgers and the Giants, and then we come back from there. You know what I'm saying? We don't stay out there that long, so I think that's a little bit better too. Maybe one benefit that I'll take from this new scheduling. I'm not totally there with CP with the whole interleague, and I'm with Keith where I want to see more division games, man. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see more division games, and we've kind of lost that. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I think it sucks that we don't see the Braves again. I think till August we don't see the
Hey,
Braves, or
hey,
maybe even September.
that division might be on the line in August, so we might.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Hey, it's inevitable that the MLB is going to switch up these divisions, man. I feel it in my bones. The way that they're shifting the schedule, I think they're going to go away with these classic divisions. I'm just got to throw that out there. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but I have a gut feeling.
like
Great.
geographically, more geographically
Yeah, I can't wait
aligned
for
or
the
whatever.
Phillies, Red Sox, and Yankees to be in our division. I can't wait for
Yeah,
that.
that's gonna be so much fun.
Oh man, but yeah, when that does that, when the realignment does happen, we'll see. But and we're gonna miss Keller in this series as well. So we're not gonna worry about him. Mitch Keller, he's not gonna be pitching in this series. So the Mets miss out on that. So Hayden, when it comes to this Pittsburgh series, besides winning the series, obviously that's the obvious one. What do you want to see in this series from against the Pittsburgh team that's actually playing well right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would really just say right now, keep up what you're doing. I know that sounds pretty vague and pretty basic, but if guys like McNeil can hit, if guys like Nimmo are continuing to do what they're doing, if Beatty and Alvarez, who have been absolutely on fire, I mean, really, Beatty and Alvarez are showing what we projected for them to do. So if they can keep doing that, if the offense could keep passing the baton and producing 6, 7, 8 runs like they've been doing, you have a pretty good chance at winning the ball game. Pitching goes 6 innings, and that is one thing I know Chris mentioned, and I do concur with that. The pitching going 6 innings would be nice. We know that the bullpen's been a little taxed in the Atlanta series. They were a little bit questionable on who to use because guys needed rest. So really having your starters go much longer into games really helps out your bullpen. Really helps out Rayleigh, really helps out Ottavino. So we'll have to see, but have your starters go deep into games, throw quality starts. Those are huge. More so for the innings, but this offense is capable of bouncing back, and we've been seeing it. So Pirates are a good team. They've been playing very well. O'Neal Cruz, Brian Hayes. Their pitching's been very good. They've been a very good team. They played very well so far to start off the season, and yeah, we're gonna have to see. But they got to do those things to at least take 2 or 3. Sweep would be nice, but 2 or 3, just win series.
Let me
Yeah,
ask you guys, for somebody like me who hasn't really been paying attention to the Pirates, right? So what's their strengths? What's carrying them to this strong? So I think what they are like 11-4 or something like that. Is that true?
11-5.
Jesus, 11-5.
I'd say
Dang,
their hitting's
Yeah,
been
their
pretty
offense is
good.
pretty good.
Their hitting.
so the offense is really what's been carrying them. Interesting.
I think it's
Well,
a
you know,
mixture. It's just they have good hitting, good pitching. It's just the balance.
Good team all the way around. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know the Mets faced three good offensive teams in a row in Cincinnati, and the Braves, and the Royals. And look, the Mets, you know, we're beating good teams, as CP actually said. And look, the Royals came into Citi Field on a 7-game winning streak. So you know that's something that not a lot of
Because
people.
we're a good team, damn it.
Yeah, we're beating the good teams, and you can say, "Oh, we're beating the Nationals, or beating the Rockies, or we're beating teams that are the Reds up and coming, the Royals up and coming, and the Braves are the Braves." So
And the clubhouse knows that, Rob. The
correct.
clubhouse knows that, and
That's
that's
the
it.
confidence
That's
they
a
need.
point that they can stick with them and carry that momentum
Yep.
because they know that more than anybody. They're not beating up on bad teams right now. These are great teams. So if you're gonna go and beat the Royals and Braves, you're damn sure confident that you can go into a Pittsburgh Pirates series and whoever else and go in there and compete with them too. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and
Great point,
we have to
brother.
beat.
Those are just like Beatty has had confidence builders.
Yep,
I'm sorry,
correct.
Rob. The team
No, yeah,
itself, these are confidence builders for the team as well. That's a great point.
yeah, absolutely. And, we're one game under 500. Let's get the 500. Let's get over 500, and let's just take it off. Let's go on the West Coast with all the confidence in the world. Take 2 out of 3. Obviously, we would love to be greedy and sweep the series going into LA, but let's take that series and go to the West Coast. The Giants are not very good right now. I think they're 6-10. They're not very good. The Dodgers are the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are beatable. Like, the Dodgers are beatable. If you look at their games this year, their score, when they win, they score a ton of runs. When they lose, they score nothing. So they're a hit and miss team, even though they're one of the best teams in baseball. They're a team that they need to score a lot of runs to win ball games. That's how they win ball games. So if you keep with the way the Mets have been winning, for the most part, have been their pitching has been taking care of the offense of the other team. If we can do that at least somewhat, because we knew in the Brave series that they were going to score runs. It's just how many runs are you going to give up? Because if you limit that damage a little bit, you give your chances, give your team a chance to win ball games, and they did take 2 out of 3. Same thing they got to do with when it comes to the Dodgers when we get to that point. So let's end this roundtable by letting everybody talk about their channels and what they're going to be up to and their final thoughts. Chris, let me start with you since you got another stream coming up. I know you want to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a stream coming up at 9:30 with Subway to Shea, Anthony Rivera. He's got his YouTube channel up and running as well. So we're going to be live on that, talking a little bit more about the Royals series and a preview for the Pittsburgh Pirates series. That's going to be good. That's going to be a good one. Always love chopping it up with Ant. Great baseball stuff, great baseball guy. Make sure you guys go subscribe over there. As for my channel, you know where to find me. Everyone that has not subscribed yet, do Knicks and Mets content. Going to be live for Knicks post-game streams here on the channel as well as playoffs start to ramp up here. Got the 2 seed, like you said, Rob. I was watching that game earlier while the Mets game was going on. But no, it's always great to be on the roundtable. Love doing this, especially when the Mets are winning, like Hector said way earlier on. These are more enjoyable to do and talk about the positives. Obviously, like any team, there's going to be negatives and there's going to be things that the team needs to work on. Situational hitting, obviously going longer into your starts if you're starting rotation. But nonetheless, it's been great baseball being played over the last, I want to say, week after an abysmal start. As after I ripped the Mets in that very impromptu post-game live stream where the Mets let the opening game of the doubleheader slip away, I really let them had it on the channel. If you all tuned into that, you know. And since then, they took the nightcap and they've been playing better ever since the Cincinnati series. So always a good time. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on both streams. This is being streamed to both my YouTube and Rob's YouTube. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Almost at 650 subscribers. I definitely appreciate it. As always, LFGM guys. And I appreciate the support. It means a lot. Thanks, guys.
All right, Hayden, what you got? Final thoughts.
Yeah, Hayden here. Mets just play well. Just play well. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's early. But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all that great stuff on everyone's channel. If you could check my channel out, I'd appreciate that. I did a new podcast, Dressing Mets. Started that, so I'll probably upload episode 2 this week. Just kind of going over the Mets podcast base. I kind of just like to talk and ramble off about the Mets. So if you like to listen to that and argue and stuff, there, boom. So if you guys can check it out, I appreciate it. Almost at the big 1K. So let's get to that. And yeah, Chris and Hector and Rob, I appreciate you guys. And yeah, LFGM.
Absolutely. And we're going to finish it up with Hector's final thoughts of the night.
Well, for me, I mean, I really don't got much to plug. I'm not as official as these guys, but I hope to have. I have a YouTube channel that I don't really use, but I hope to eventually do something, whether it be a podcast, or maybe just some straight YouTube or whatever. But I do my little blunt thoughts, usually after each game, usually when the lineup comes out. I do now what I call my morning thought. If I have something that I woke up or maybe I went to bed thinking about something and I wake up with that thought, I throw it out there. It gets me in trouble sometimes, but that's what blunt thoughts is about. I don't give a damn. It's what comes to my mind. I put it out there. So, yeah, man, take it out. Give me your comments. And sometimes the way I respond, people think like I don't want interaction. That's not what I want. I'm actually dealing with that right now with somebody. No, we can come back. That's why I don't like typing too much either. That's why I need to do stuff like this because I like to talk better and get my thought across like that. But yeah, that's just my thing. And then my final thought on the message, just like these guys, man. Let's go out there, win the series. Listen, we talked about. Well, I know I talked about it. Not using our primary bullpen guys all on the same day, and we've gotten a little bit of that. And some of that has been because of the pitching itself, but some of that has also been because of the offense. The offense can also help the pitching, right? The offense can also help to save the bullpen, also, right? You know what I'm saying? So that we can throw a Tyler J out there for 2-3 innings instead of having to go all our guys every 2-3 batters because we're fighting to win this game. So let's keep it going that way. Let's keep winning these series. Let's take care of these damn Pirates. Let's get some payback on these bums. And then we going on to this West Coast trip and show these Dodgers they ain't shit. Excuse my French. Let's go, Mets, baby.
Hey, wait, Rob. One more thing here before we end the stream. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
We have to give one shout out to one particular Mets player that has exceeded expectations above all else, and that is a guy that we've all been trying to boot off this team, and he's in the bullpen. You know where I'm going with this. He has a number change, and his name is Drew Smith. He's been
Drew Smith,
performing
how good
lights
is that?
out,
Word.
and I don't think he's allowed a
Good is that?
single run this year so far. I hope that's not a jinx. I hope no models walk into Citi Field and change that vibe. I don't want to say it, but Drew Smith, whatever you're doing, whatever you're eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, I don't care. Keep doing it. We need you in the bullpen. And I don't have a hat, but hats off to him. Like he's a stud. He's been performing
Nah,
really
great
well.
point, CP. And that's
I'm
why I
gonna tell you.
wanted Drew Smith right there in that sixth inning area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he earns higher leverage situations, okay. But when he is, nah. We were bad neglecting that. And guys, let me just say this. My bad, Rob.
Good.
This is the second show, man, and we've been bad acknowledging the comments and the guys. We're bad, but when I'm home and I can read the comments, I'll acknowledge. No, I'm just messing around. But listen, appreciate all you guys. I'm just saying that because I see there's tons of comments in here, and I don't know
Yeah.
if we refer to them too much. But man, appreciate you guys, chiming in and tuning into us here, man. Just having some fun talking what we love, Mets baseball, baby.
Well, CP. Hey, listen up. If you with Drew Smith, and when Drew Smith hangs that slider,
Oh
Hector
my
will get
God,
on you
we're
about it.
coming for you, brother.
Right now. I'll tell you
If he
that right
blows
I
now.
that
know.
game against the Pirates, we coming for.
All right,
I should have
guys.
Don't
left
think
it
I didn't
alone.
think that, Rob, because I did think that.
All right, guys. So that's another Mets Roundtable in the books. That's number 2 show of the season. So with that said, guys, let's take another series against the Pirates as we're home at Citi Field. As always, Met fans, let's go Mets. We'll
Go
see you
Mets,
next
baby.
time. Chris, Hayden, Hector. Have a great night, guys.
Peace
Let's
out,
go.
guys.
Love GM.
LFGM.